Terrifying new discovery in Egypt changes the world. Did mummies exist 1,000 years earlier than previously believed? A recent discovery in Egypt may alter the course of ancient history. With its ancient civilization, mummified pharaohs, and ancient pyramids, Egypt has always been a source of mysticism. Researchers believe that mummification may have been practiced in ancient Egypt more than 1,000 years before it was previously believed. However, experts have continued to unearth fresh discoveries, some of which are frightening, showing that the pyramids are not the only ancient structures in Egypt. Hey everyone, welcome to the Discovery Scene. In today's video, we will explain how the terrifying new discovery in Egypt changes the world. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to unveil the terrifying new discovery. As one of the first civilizations in human history, Egypt is known as the gift of the Nile. Numerous memorials, records, and artistic creations were left behind, whose works of art are still being studied by art experts today. Along with the rulers, the language, literature, climate, and religion of the civilization, and its borders having altered numerous times throughout the ages, Egypt is still a fascinating modern-day nation. Due to the import and export of goods, foods, ideas, and even religions, ancient Egypt was closely connected to the rest of the globe. Outside of the present-day nation, ancient Egypt occasionally ruled over dominating land, and the present-day nations of Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Sudan, and Cyprus. However, although briefly holding the title of world power, Egypt was also occupied by other nations throughout antiquity. The Persians, Nubians, Greeks, and Romans overcame Egypt at various stages. Egypt has also gone by a number of names. Kemet, an old term that means the Black Land, is one of the most well-known. Scholars generally concur that this name originated from the fertile soil that was left behind after the Nile receded in August, not from the skin tone of the inhabitants. The national soccer team of the nation has adopted the term pharaohs to describe the historical rulers of the land. The term pharaoh originates from the Egyptian term pira, meaning the great house, and was first incorporated into a royal title during the rule of Thutmose III, who reigned between 1479 and 1425 BC. Scientists do not know exactly when early hominids first entered Egypt, but the earliest migration of hominids out of Africa occurred almost 2 million years ago, with modern humans dispersing out of Africa only about 100,000 years ago. Egypt might have been used as a route to Asia in some of these migrations. It's unclear how or when ancient Egypt became unified. Still, one theory is that two kingdoms, Upper and Lower Egypt, which previously had been two separate states, later amalgamated. Artwork depicting pharaohs wearing two crowns, one of Lower Egypt and one for Upper Egypt, supports the hypothesis. Egypt's pharaonic eras are long gone, yet the rulers were classified into 30 or 31 dynasties, which were then divided into several eras. The first hieroglyphic inscriptions were created in Egypt and date back roughly 5,200 years. The majority of the hieroglyphs depict the sounds of consonants and some powerfully articulated vowels because it was a living language. The interpretation of these hieroglyphs has given us some insight into some of the discoveries made in this northern African country. That does not mean, however, that scientists have been able to comprehend or explain every discovery. As you will soon learn in this movie, some discoveries remain frightening as well as unexplained. The subterranean chamber in the Giza pyramid is one discovery that continues to confound scientists. Some of history's most stunning man-made constructions are the Egyptian pyramids. The prominence of the pharaohs in ancient Egyptian society is reflected in their enormous size. They were considered to have been chosen by the gods themselves to act as their earthly intermediaries because of their position, which was somewhere between human and heavenly. In fact, the pyramids were so closely associated with the monarchs that their angular smooth sides were meant to resemble the sunbeams, and were created to aid the king's soul in ascending to heaven and joining the gods, particularly the sun god Ra. What did the pyramids serve to achieve? When the king passed away, the ancient Egyptians thought that Ka, or a portion of his spirit, stayed with his body. The king's corpse was mummified, and everything he would require in the afterlife, including all the trappings of royalty like gold utensils, food, furniture, and other offerings, were buried with him in order to take care of his spirit properly. Although the construction of pyramids began at the beginning of the Old Kingdom and continued through the end of the Ptolemaic period in the 4th century AD, it peaked in the 3rd Late Dynasty. It continued until about the 6th, or around 2325 BC. The Giza Pyramid is one of the most well-known pyramids. It is thought to be the tomb of King Tutankhamun, one of Egypt's first pharaohs. Khufu is 230 meters long and 140 meters high. We are aware of 3 primary chambers in the Giza Pyramid: the Queen's Chamber, the King's Chamber, and an unfinished-looking basement chamber. The Grand Gallery, a 47-meter-long passageway, also leads to the King's Chamber. in order to determine whether there are any previously undiscovered rooms, cavities, tunnels, passageways, or other structures within a pyramid. Scientists set out to examine its internal structure. They found a big void that measured between 30 and 40 meters in length. The function of this hidden room, which is situated in an obviously unique location, baffled the scientists. It might hold wealth, or possibly another tomb, according to certain theories. One factor that captivated the researchers was that the Giza pyramid was essentially empty of items that people were typically interred with, albeit this could have been the result of grave robbers' efforts. However, it seems that they were unable to touch the big void. So whatever, it must still contain what it did at first. There are yet more secrets that archaeologists have uncovered about ancient Egypt, and the next one is not for the faint of heart. Would you like some eerie mummy juice? It all started when workers in an apartment building in the famous Mediterranean port city discovered a black granite tomb, 16 feet beneath the ground. The burial chamber, which was over 2,000 years old, quickly became viral online. The horrifying sight of 3 floating skeletons in the murky soup sparked tales that the mummy juice had magic or therapeutic characteristics, and the locals were eager to bottle and sell it to earn a quick buck. Others were concerned that its particular coloration indicated the presence of a metal like mercury. Despite worries that doing so might cause an ancient curse to be released, the massive black granite sarcophagus was discovered smashed open. Additionally, a lot of people thought it might have housed the remains of Alexander the Great, who built the city. But Dr. Mustafa Waziri, General Secretary of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, promptly put an end to that theory by claiming it might have belonged to a priest instead. However, according to a statement issued by Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities, the finding of suspected arrow damage to one of the skulls indicates the bones belonged to military leaders. What precisely was the mummy juice? Did it actually have any paranormal overtones? Unfortunately, no. The liquid, which was identified by authorities as sewage water, was neither red mercury nor juice for mummies that contain an elixir of life. Waziri claimed that sewage water from a nearby structure had entered the tomb through a tiny opening on one side, causing the skeletons to disintegrate partially. What about the omens associated with opening old tombs? Waziri claimed he was the first to place his head inside the sarcophagus, and appears that nothing bad happened to him. Thus, either they were simply rumors, or this particular coffin had no curses to offer. You could assume that light bulbs are a recent innovation. However, certain Egyptian discoveries imply that our predecessors may have used such light-producing technology. Let's head over to Dendera, an old city. You know, the ancient Egyptians enjoyed using reliefs with inscriptions to embellish their walls. One of these has led to theories that the Egyptians were familiar with light bulbs. Inscriptions beneath the Temple of Hathor at Dendera show that some have compared to an early light bulb called a crocus tube or bulb-like item. A wavering line from what appears to be a lotus flower, which may have been used as the bulb's socket, can be seen inside the bulbs. As a result, some have proposed that the light bulb is actually a lotus flower bulb that is said to have given birth to the god in myth. In the eyes of the Sphinx, Eric von Daniken proposed that the tube was actually a prehistoric electric light bulb, and that the snake stood in for the filament, the jade pillar for an insulator. Evidently, the bamboo served as a warning that the tool could be harmful if not handled properly. While there have been numerous ideas and disagreements, Sylvie Colville, who researched extensively on the inscriptions in this temple, offered the following. The carvings show Horus Sematawi as a serpent, a falcon, and as a child. Let's hear what mystery of ancient Egypt you like the most in the comments section. Here are some amazing videos that you will enjoy. Simply click on the left or right video to watch it. Stay tuned for the next one. Adios!